I'm Larry.
One of my friends sent me a text back. I said something like,
We have a very small, enthusiastic, loving crowd.
Yeah, it's always
So he's out. He's gonna go to the summer today, but I think they're season in the spring. Oh, is that right? Is it in the spring? Oh, maybe it hasn't started. See, I get my semester. So he's been practicing a whole fall. I guess they'll pick it up in the spring. I have no.
So I met one guy in the alley, and he says, "Oh yeah, I've been out. I didn't have any.
get my mind right. I said, I'm trying to get my mind right. I'm telling you, I got to the record doesn't have everybody. Well, you know, she's in charge of all that stuff. She's got a class. The school is in session. She's sociologist. I should give her covering the same.
5,500 seats inside.
Discussing it. Jane said that he was some sort of protege.
Is he Unitarian or is he?
Sisters.
I'll say.
I didn't come in that many times before.
His first wife. I know exactly how it works, but he's sort of that together.
Good Thanksgiving.
You know, he's a
It was courtesy of Cracker Barrel.
It was a very I wasn't sure that 70-plus-year-olds should be on it.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody. My name is Abby Thompson. I'm president of the fellowship, which is for 2 more Sundays this year. It's been a great pleasure getting these applause every Sunday. Come, whoever you are, holding various beliefs, whatever your skin color, whatever your age or gender identity, whatever your abilities, whomever you love. You're welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro. You're welcome in this, our religious home. Now I'd like to take a moment to welcome any guests or visitors we have. I know we are looking forward to the pulpit swap later during the service with Rev Nic Filzen. but if any other visitors would like to introduce themselves at this time.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dylan. I'm Morgan's husband, and this is my first time. So, welcome.
Good morning, I'm Miriam. I'm Sharon's daughter, and in from Charleston.
I was not here last week, but it was the first Sunday in December. And later in our service, when we share our offertory, half of the plate that's not designated as your pledge will go to the Ministerial Helping Hands Fund, which goes to support Jane's support that she provides to folks as they call with needs. Now I'll invite you to join with me in our congregational acclamation, which is on the wall. Love
is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
And now welcome Sherry as our worship leader.
Thank you, Abby. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to our friends on Facebook, members and friends who couldn't be here this morning but are tuning in and watching us live on Facebook. So just a reminder that we are out there in the public as we proceed this morning. Our services also are recorded, so those who want to hear it again or who weren't able to be here can find it on the website later in the week. As always, we begin this part of the service with the lighting of the chalice, symbol of our religious heritage. Our visiting minister this morning, Rev Nic Filzen, has chosen a different reading for us. So hear these words. These words are from Jezebel and that from a calm, clear place. It's the sound in falling into the sky. Let us come into a calm, clear place where we can relinquish our clutter and relax from busyness into being, where we can breathe in peace and center ourselves in love. May it be so. And now we will rise together and sing twice. If you will, please.
Say hello to each other a lot.
Thanks, everyone. As we find our seats, now is the time for the sharing of the story for all ages. And this story does have some pretty neat pictures. So if there are any young folks or anyone who just wants to see the pictures more closely, come on down front so you can see. Thanks, Matilda. The story is called Finding Kindness. Thanks, Izzy. The story is written by Deborah Underwood and illustrated by Eileen Chan. And it shows two children on front. Kindness is sometimes a cup and a card. You don't tell what she's doing? What's she doing now? What else is happening? You had to look closely. Yeah. Actually, I think what she's doing is using the cup and the card to capture it so she can let it go inside. Did you ever do that? Find a bug inside and free it? Sometimes that's what kindness is. Or a ladder, a truck, and a tree. A switch and a cuddle, a rake and a yard. And this might be a cookie, a carrot, a key. Sometimes you have to pay attention to see what's going on. Kindness is seeds and a feeder, a seat on a train. A daisy, a peach, or a pie, a wave at a baker, a boost or a crane, a sandwich shared up in the sky. Kindness is sometimes a tip in a case or a tap when a lace is untied. It's taking a photo or making some space. It's a racket, a rocket, a ride. It's dirt and a shovel, petunias and pails. It's trees that someday will give shade. These folks are paying attention to reason to be kind, aren't they? It can be plans and a hammer. It's lumber and nails. It's houses and cold lemonade. On a hot day, that sounds good, doesn't it? Kindness is sometimes just taking a break or sitting with someone who's sad. Forgiving yourself when you've made a mistake. Or forgiving a friend who got mad. It's cuddling puppies. It's holding the door. It's a toy and a treat and a comb. It's seeing the animals others ignore. It's a leash and a lick and a home. Kindness is sometimes a song or a stick or a hat and a bat and a ball. Took me a minute to see who was singing. Can you try to sing? Yes, the dog is singing along. It's reading a story. It's feeding a fish. It's a bucket, a book, and a yard. It's soup when a neighbor is sneezing and sick, or a scoop if one happens to fall. It's kissing a sister. It's wishing a wish. It's a bug and a cup and a card. Different kinds. I think she did make that. Kindness is all around when we look to see, isn't it? And we can all participate. Thank you. Let's stand up now and we'll leave the grown-ups in our children's conversation. We are Unitarian Universalist, people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. And now we're going to form the bridge and sing our children's hymn.
First Sunday I was here, I'm standing here.
We shall do as we pass through.
So as Abby mentioned, our guest speaker this morning is a minister from Augusta, and we're doing a pulpit swap. Our Reverend Jane is up in Augusta talking with those folks, and Reverend Nic is here to speak with us. And I asked him for some information to introduce him so y'all would know a little bit more about where he's coming from. And I've learned that though he has always had a deep religious curiosity, most of his journey has involved music. Music is also what connected him to the Unitarian Universalism, where he was adopted when he was hired as a church musician at the UU congregation of Shelter Rock. This was when he was in grad school at the Manhattan School of Music. His relationship with the UU faith continued to be nurtured as the music director at UU St. Pete while working alongside Reverend Jack Donovan. He began this role shortly after he moved to Tampa Bay to manage operations for the Florida Orchestra. His official faith formation began at Meadville Lombard Theological School in 2017, when he finally answered the call to ministry he had been springing for years. While attending Meadville, Nic was blessed to do his ministerial internship with Reverend Julia Hamilton at the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara. He finished seminary and was invited into preliminary fellowship as a Unitarian Universalist minister in 2020. In 2021, he was ordained by both congregations, UUSP and USSB. Soon after, he and his family moved to Georgia to begin his first full-time ministry at the UU Church of Augusta. Reverend Nic says he was fortunate to have Reverend Jane as a mentor throughout his preliminary fellowship. This is the process that he completed about a month ago when he received full fellowship as a UU minister. While the beauty and power of music and art and creativity remain fundamental to his ministry is devoted to the shared creation of beloved community. His faith is grounded by a steadfast commitment to relational wholeness, to love. Reverend Nic is joined today by his spouse, Janaea, and his two stepkids, Noah and Charlie Hinton. Together, they raised 2 dogs and 2 steps. We're very pleased to welcome you to our pulpit. Rev Nic, come and sit with us.
There's power in turning off the power. I thought I'd get started today with a moment for meditation. Using a meditation entitled The Many Body Stand by my friend Rev Roy Stevens, who's a minister in Tennessee. Following the guided meditation, there will be a period of silence and then a kind of reflective round that I'm hoping you all will sing with me. I want to practice that ahead of time so that we can kind of stay in that meditation, presence, head space, heart space, body space once we get there. So I've asked Mo, right? If you could play me a D minor chord. This is the part that you're going to sing with me when we start this. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Can we all sing that together?
Might as well.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Good. And we'll do that several times. You'll just keep singing that part, and I'll sing a second part to go with that. But we'll get there in a moment. Until then, I do invite you to feel grounded as however that works for you. If that means to place your feet on the ground, if that means to close your eyes or bow your head or clasp your hands or lay your hands on your thighs, whatever allows you to feel most present here in this moment with your body. Focus your attention first then on the parts of the body which are closest to the earth. Scan your attention upwards slowly. And as your scan arrives at the center of the body, focus your attention there, where air becomes breath, where what is not you becomes you, where the line between blurs and a flow without ceasing. Scan your attention slowly upwards once again. Focus your attention at the top of the body, where feeling becomes thought, and thought becomes action. Let us now sit in silent presence with ourselves, with each other, so we may prepare for the loving work to come. I had just found out that Emily, my girlfriend of 3 years, with whom I had moved from Chicago to Los Angeles in my early 20s, was secretly dating somebody else too, and had been for several months. Prone to wearing my heart on my sleeve, as they say, I didn't take this discovery well. The breakup was hard, fast, devastating. Suddenly, a huge presence in my life was gone in an instant. A presence around whom I had shaped many parts of my life. All I could do was get in the car and drive. As I drove, I deeply shook and in tears, not a safe way to drive. I desperately desired the presence of a friend. And with whom I could be completely vulnerable, because that's what they were going to get that night. I called my friend Tracy, choking a few words out between each sob, told her what happened, or the gist of it anyway. Without hesitation, she said I could come to her place. When I got there, I couldn't muster any more words. She didn't need to say anything either. She just quietly hugged me as I wept. Not long after, Tracy departed for grad school in Boston while I had 1 year remaining of undergrad in LA. Though she and I haven't lived in the same city since, and have our own families and adult lives now, we remain very close friends 20 years later. Without judgment, without trying to take my big feels away, without trying to fix an unfixable situation, she shared such a warm gift with me that night. A gift of sincere, quiet, compassionate, kind presence. She paid attention to my aching soul. And she'll forever have my good faith friendship in return. I'm not sure why this was the first story that emerged from my heart as I was scanning my life history for moments when somebody offered me the gift of presence. Scanning for moments when somebody's quiet witness of my soul in pain was exactly the salve I needed to move through that pain. Clearly, the presence she offered me that night was as memorable as the pain itself. Once I got this story down, though, others started to reemerge for me too. Not just other painful moments, celebratory moments. It was October 2020. After working my butt off for several months during a pandemic, reading a million books, and writing thousands of words about myself, which is such an awkward thing to do. After 3 years of seminary, 2 years of internship, and a move across the country with my family to be an intern minister in Santa Barbara, I was finally going to see the Ministerial Fellowship Committee of the Unitarian Universalist Association, or the NFC of the UUA for short. Though I had completed my seminary studies, I couldn't get ordained just yet. Not until I received preliminary fellowship from the credentialing arm of Unitarian Universalism. This is something that Randy will be going through quite soon. The NFC interview really is a high-stakes situation. My entire career, or at least the start of it, was writing on a 45-minute conversation with 5 people I didn't know. A career I had just spent 3.5 years and a whole lot of money preparing for. I'm still paying that money. The interview included a 10-minute sermon, followed by several questions that they asked me, including a couple about my mental health and self-care practices. There are few interviews in the world which go into as much depth as an MFC interview. They really go deep. Though I had no doubt put my work in, every ounce of my soul was occupied by an all-encompassing imposter syndrome. I didn't feel like I belonged. At the end of the interview, you're placed in a waiting room to await the results. However, because of COVID, this was the first time in history that the MFC interviews were entirely virtual. Usually you go to Boston and go to the where the main headquarters of the UUA, and you would be accompanied by a minister chaplain while you wait. My whole cohort didn't have that. I just sat there, anxiety through the roof, staring at a blank screen. About 15 minutes passed, and finally, the 5 members of my interview panel returned. They offered me preliminary fellowship with no contingencies. To avoid the risk of any extra noise in the house during my interview, Janaea and the rest of my family, including my in-laws with whom we lived during my internship, were waiting on the patio outside for me to finish. So they didn't know what happened just yet. But as I opened the back door to tell her the news, tears of joy began streaming down my face. My emotions were somewhat overwhelming. Even though I wasn't quite sobbing like I was with Tracy, the corners of my lips and cheeks still got really tight like they do when you're trying to say something but you're crying and you can't quite get it out. Which of course made it really hard to say anything. But I managed and I passed. Thankfully, again, didn't need to say anything else, just tears of joy. Janaea gave me the biggest hug and teared up with me. She, of course, had a lot writing on this interview, too. Yet, if she was thinking about that, I couldn't tell. I just felt her fully present celebration of my accomplishment with me. With me. Though receiving fellowship was a huge deal, having somebody to witness my joy and celebrate right alongside with me may have been the best part of the day. Well, until we put our masks on and drove an hour south and ate outside at Shake Shack, my favorite burger restaurant. That was pretty good too. If you haven't had Shake Shack, it is the best burger in the country. My humble opinion. Presence doesn't necessarily require a big moment, though. It can enrich the simple times too. But other humans aren't totally required either. Let me explain. Not long after grad school, I drove to Peoria, Illinois, my hometown, to spend a summer with my family. I was making the 16-hour drive from New York City by myself. Well, not entirely by myself. I had my bulldog, Sasha Fierce, with me. She was such an excellent travel companion. She would just quietly sit in the passenger seat next to me. Sure, she spent a lot of time watching the road and snoring. But every so often I would look over at her, and with her big, brown, kind eyes, I would find her gazing deeply into my soul. Impossibly deep. And then she would gently put her paw on my arm and just kind of hold my hand. No big emotions this time. Just another being reminding me she was with me on the journey. Reminding me I was loved. And that my presence was meaningful for her, too. Whether with human being or some other being such as a beloved pet, being loved through somebody's presence is integral for a sense of wholeness. Likewise, living love, the practice of presence, is such an important aspect of returning that good faith. One we often forget to practice because there are a lot of things going on in our lives from day to day, from moment to moment. 1,000,001 responsibilities, news stories, things, drawing our attention in many different directions all at once. It's easy to forget that the person right in front of you needs our attention too. Not to mention the person that isn't right in front of us. But that's another story. The true presence of others as we journey through life is a deeply pragmatic and spiritual human need. Perhaps that awareness is why you all include this phrase in your mission. We honor the transformative power of love transformative power of love in our individual lives and broader communities. What a powerful statement which recognizes the impact love has on our interdependent capacity to develop, grow, thrive, become. Love helps us become something else from nothing but, simply by honoring existing wholeness. All right, I'm getting a little abstract. Let me try to respond. For me, love, true love, not to sound like Princess Bride, requires active work towards somebody's wholeness. Yet somewhat paradoxically, the sense of wholeness we all deserve requires the full affirmation and awareness that somebody, everybody, is already whole. We become whole by having our wholeness witnessed. Part of the spiritual discipline of love is to fully witness the fullness, the wholeness, the holiness of someone else's being in this ever-becoming moment, which is inclusive of all preceding moments. Again, another sermon for another day. But to be truly effective, our presence practice needs to be separated from any idea that we're going to fix somebody's immediate problem, or worse yet, be their savior. As pastoral presence guru Parker Palmer says, the human soul doesn't want to be advised or fixed or saved. It simply wants to be witnessed, to be seen, heard, and companioned exactly as it is. Accompanying somebody else through their journey, whether it be easy or rough, being with somebody else along their way and receiving the same reciprocal gift in kind is such a powerful spiritual practice. To do it well in the moment of most need requires preparation and some trust. As a minister, I'm grateful to be that present in so many folks' lives, which isn't a given. It's indeed a privilege. I personally wouldn't trust just anyone with my heaviest stuff. That kind of relationship is built over time, within community. I knew I could rely on Tracy, so I went to her. I trusted her. One of the best ways to develop that kind of trust, the trust that goes both ways when most healthy, is by practicing presence with each other on the stuff that doesn't feel so big. The moments with seemingly lower stakes, when the journey seems like a long, yet generally smooth drive from New York to Illinois. And you never know, what feels like low stakes for you might indeed feel much more momentous to somebody else. So try not to miss the opportunity to be present when it pops up. You might just be forming a core memory for somebody, a core memory that could either facilitate their sense of connection to the interdependent web, or goodness forbid, their disconnection. If we indeed affirm the truth that we are part of an interdependent web of existence, a soul disconnected from that web cannot be whole by definition. Yet at a fundamental level, the present prerequisite is spiritual practice on your own. Spiritual practice on your own, which becomes spiritual practice in relationship with others. Practicing presence for yourself allows you to offer it to others more fully and prevent an other's path from seeping into your own soul at the worst possible moment. The technical term for this seepage is transference, which can lead to countertransference, which creates a nasty feedback loop of pain being passed back and forth, which halts the healing journey through anybody's pain. But I digress. For me, this is the paramount reason to have a consistent spiritual practice of presence on my own. It prepares my soul so I can be the presence somebody else desperately needs when they need it. Once again, somewhat paradoxically, practicing presence on my own, intentionally loving myself as I am, allows me to decenter myself, and more easily center somebody or something else within the interdependent web of existence, at least for a moment. This is what makes the practice spiritual, by opening us up to the fullness of being beyond the me. You may have noticed I've repeatedly emphasized the word being. When I worked at UU St. Pete, Reverend Jack Donovan offered a sermon that will stick with me forever. He suggested that God, or whatever the most ultimate, most intimate thing in reality is being. Presence. Being which becomes. Created stillness in motion. Presence on a road trip. The phrase, I am, from the Jewish Torah comes to mind. To be present alongside others offers the sacred gift of wholeness, holiness, goodness, maybe God, if that word works for you. God lives through us and to us when we're present together. Love, the core value at the center of our tradition, lives through us when we practice presence together. Many UU congregations do this each week when folks share joys, sorrows, and concerns during worship together. I've certainly seen this go sideways. I don't know about all you all, but every once in a while people make announcements or political statements instead of sharing something more personal. Or perhaps go on too long without awareness of their impact on others. It happens from time to time. I'm not saying you all do it. And I've also observed this to be a powerful moment to connect, particularly across generations. At UUCA in Augusta, we have foregone a weekly time or story for all ages. Instead, we have our joys and sorrows become that moment and do it before the kids leave the service if they leave, which we now use as our time for all ages in practice. The result has been nothing short of amazing. Since kids have gotten the chance to be seen, valued, witnessed by the whole church community, several have significantly emerged from their shell. For example, my buddy Lexi literally couldn't be heard speaking at her first attempt. Like, even with a mic, couldn't hear. Now, she comes up regularly and boldly shares what's on her heart. And I regularly see her in chatting with adults outside her family. This never would have happened. The small shift in our practice has done wonders for a relationship across all ages. Though the kids today mostly have left, the result of kids staying for joys and sorrows in Augusta has proven to me the power of presence practiced together is meaningful, regardless of who is in the room. I now know, because of the evidence, the presence practiced within a community of good faith produces a heightened sense of wholeness and relationship. And I am all in for joys and sorrows. So today, Sherry has generously allowed me to switch things around a little bit within the order of service so that I can include joys and sorrows within the sermon and before the offertory, so that we can practice presence as I talk about practicing presence. By the way, I love alliteration. I'm not sure if you can tell. So, as we prepare to do a joy and sorrow ritual moment, a reminder, we are being broadcast live on Facebook and recorded. So if you have a concern too private to speak aloud, you're invited to reach out separately to Reverend James, or Randy Blush, or Pastoral Care Associates Sherry or Mike. When it's your turn to share, I invite you to please first say your name aloud and place a stone or light a candle in token of your joy or concern. You may speak from where you are, and Sherry will light a candle or place the stone for you. Today, perhaps a little bit more unique, I also invite those of you not sharing at any given moment to be as present with others as you possibly can be. If somebody says something to celebrate, celebrate. Let's applaud. Let's make some noise. I know it's uncomfortable for you sometimes. Let's do it. If someone says something to lament, you're invited to pat your chest like this. Let them know they're being seen. Let them know you're listening. And if you speak to folks about what they share later, perhaps when you're having some coffee, remember what Parker Palmer said. No fixing, saving, or advising. Just witness. So with that, let us proceed with our joys and sorrows. For people to come up to speak in the front, or again, you can speak from your seat.
I'm Sherry. It's always a joy to be here with all of you good people in life. It's good to look at and see all your faces. And it's such a pleasure this morning to welcome Rev Nic and to share this time together. So I invite you to do so.
So you cannot be too long, mine, other people's, time and stuff. So I'll try and be succinct, but I have a couple. A joy is that I have an interview coming up. So wish me well on that. Concern I have is I don't really watch my dog and I need to be out of town for a couple days to do it. So if anybody's interested, come to my house and watch my dog or bargain her with you for a couple days, please let me know. Another joy that I had is Izzy might not want me to tell you about this, but the other day she was here with me while I was working on stuff for the presentation, and she started yelling from the yoga studio. And I knew she was playing on VR, but I didn't know what was going on. And I could have swore for the life of me that she was saying, "Mom, they broke your leg on VR." And I was like, my leg is fine. How did that happen? So I couldn't figure out what was going on. And then I looked outside and somebody was pulling up to the church and their car looked like it had been busted up. And I was like, well, maybe somebody's broken outside. So I opened the door and I was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm just here for a meeting." And I was like, okay, so it's not that. So I ran down there and I was like, "Did you break your leg?" She's like, "No." Like, what the heck is going on? Apparently there was a girl on VR that thought she broke her leg while she was on VR. She was crying. All of the kids, if you ever hear them on VR, it's just skinny, 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 like to just talk over each other the whole time. It's horrible. And so they were talking over each other. Izzy's like, "Everybody leave Purple alone. Purple, come over here. How can I help you? Purple, do you need help? Are you alone?" Blah, blah. Like, she took a lot of initiative there that I think shows a lot of good character. And I appreciate the fact that, one, she's my daughter, but two, that she cares about people enough to get somebody else. And also that girl is alone at home, and that's why Izzy is not allowed to be alone at home yet, because if something like that happens, it's bad. Anyway, we've had that.
I'm Connie Leslie. Last week I said I had a self-serving joy. I can't remember short-term memory with the old people. But Abby said something about my Auburn sweatshirt. Well, Auburn, Alabama is Auburn. I mean, the whole town is just Auburn. Well, my house in Auburn, Alabama, which I lived in 42 years, was put on the market the first week in July. Well, this past Friday, we closed on it. Yes, finally. So I didn't get for what I thought it was worth, but it's someone else's now. And I had just paid the property taxes. And the water bill came in Friday's mail. And my son Rand, who is the reason I'm here in Statesboro, as you know, looked at it and he said, "Now you have to pay it." And the water bill is always high because it includes trash pickup and sewer. So, well, what can you do? Gotta pay the bills.
But not next month.
You know, I really thank you for being happy when I'm happy. Really, if you watch the news hour, which I do every day, we are so blessed to be in the United States and being in Statesboro.
Okay, so I'm Adrian, but I'm not doing this for me. I am doing this for our friend Dave Mooney, who participates just about every Sunday. Someday, Dave, you and I are going to meet. I'm going to give you the biggest hug. And this is a beautiful one. He put on our Facebook feed, he said, "My joy today is that today I have been cancer-free for 11 years. Finally, I'm going to light a candle for you, my friend. Can't wait till we're in the same room at the same time, but in the meantime, thank you."
Hello, I'm Noah. I'm that guy's kid. And I finished Animal Crossing this morning, which is a game on my Nintendo Switch, and I've been working on it for like 4 months, like since the hurricane passed by. I've been playing a little bit before that, but I was very excited. I really just enjoyed my mom's hair, so the interview turned out very well.
I'll just be real quick because I never come up here, so it's really awkward.
No.
But my brother David and his wife, who most of y'all have met at least once or twice because they pop in every so often, they had their baby on Thursday. Little Zelda came a couple of weeks early, but she's doing great, and she's the most beautiful baby I've ever seen in my life. And it's so good, and I'm so excited.
I'm going to dampen the mood a little bit. But my name is Morgan, and my grandmother broke her femur. For the second time, she broke her hip off, like the top part first, and she just broke above her knee on the same side. So, lighting a concern candle for her. I hope she'll get better. She's in the hospital. She's going through PT right now, so hoping this candle will help her walk again, because she's super independent, and we just really need her to walk again. But she made it through the first time and recovered, so I hope that she'll be okay. She's turning 90 on Christmas Day. She's a little Christmas baby. So I'm going to light another candle though, because I'm going to see my new nephew. So that's fun. And then we have another baby in the family on the way who is probably going to be named after the grandmother I'm talking about. So this will be our second.
We light a final candle in token of unspoken joys or concerns you may carry today, which you are not ready to speak aloud. Whether spoken or unspoken, may all our shared joys and sorrows be witnessed. witnessed by the presence of being as embodied by us, by the spirit of wholeness which lives within us, yearning to be felt. May our souls be held in trust by beloved community. May we be with each other in love. Blessed be.
And now is the time for the sharing of offerings. I'll remind you, as Abby told us, everything that goes in the plate today that's not designated as your plate, half of it will go to support our internal Helping Fans Fund, which Reverend David administers. And we are blessed today to have special offertory music. So I invite Reverend Nic to share that with us.
Find the stillness, oh, the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, oh, the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, we will find true harmony.
These gifts and the gift of music is gratefully received and appreciated. Reverend Nic will lead us into our singing, A Spirit of Life.
Just a brief prayer of gratitude. Thank you to the source of being, the mystery of life that creates in us and through us and around us a spirit of love, a spirit of life, which allows us to make this world a specialer, more powerful place just by our existence. With that, let us sing.
Spirit
extinguish the flame, feel free to share the words with me if you like. We
Extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And now is the time of the service for announcements. Are there announcements that we need to share, or think you know about? Yes, please, Lynn. Oh, yes, on Sunday.
So tonight, if anybody is interested, whether you're a Swiftie or not, we're going to have a small party here in the church around 6 p.m. There's going to be a photo booth. There's going to be beads, coloring sheets, painting rocks, face painting, cocoa, lots of stuff. So you should come. And if you are not a Swiftie, we still love you. And open our arms for you, don't worry. I've also heard that there's a request for some Led Zeppelin. Hey. My other announcement is, like I said, with an interview coming up, I do need help with my dog, specifically on Tuesday. If anybody can come to my house, I'll talk to you. Thank you.
Okay, so 6 o'clock tonight, we're all invited, particularly young women, and women's empowerment is being celebrated, but everybody's welcome. 6 o'clock tonight. Other announcements?
I'll put in a plug for the Statesboro Chamber Orchestra that has a concert this Thursday. I believe it's at 7 at the Emma Kelly Theater, and it's free. So if you're out and about and feel like enjoying classical music, that's what will be showcased. And there'll be some youth involved in the concert. So there's a generational bridge there to enjoy.
Some of our members are participating. Looking forward to it. Wonderful. 7 o'clock Thursday at the Anchorage. Other announcements?
Bill Herring and I often go out to lunch, and we plan to go out to lunch today. And anybody who's interested in doing this is welcome. Fair warning, we often talk about politics. But I don't think it's necessary if you want to join us that you join in the conversation if you just feel like that's good too. I'm not sure if we're having talk on today.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so after talk on, we'll be meeting at Nat's Landing.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Yes, Reverend Nic will stay with us. We'll break as we normally do after we sing Go Down in Peace, have coffee, refreshments, and then come back in here by 11:45, circle up for our afterthoughts discussion. So Reverend Nic and his family will linger for that. Other announcements?
There is a board meeting tomorrow night, yes, on Zoom at 7 o'clock. I believe all are invited to attend. And also, it's the season for concerts. Today at the First Methodist Church downtown, they have their annual Christmas concerts, which is at 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. It involves all the students at Georgia Southern as well as some of the church choirs. It's magnificent. If you've never been, you may want to drop by. Free and open to the service.
It's First Methodist?
It's the one downtown. Is that First Methodist?
It's First Methodist.
Yeah.
Our son's in that.
Oh, nice.
Another reason.
Yes. And speaking of holiday celebrations, if you don't already have it on your calendar, please write down November the 21st. We'll have our solstice party, Jane.
December 21st.
I'm sorry, did I say November? December 21st, our solstice celebration, which is a potluck going to be at Jane and Greg. So there'll be detailed reminders coming in your email. Why don't you know emails? Bella, did you have something else? Or just that?
I'm coming.
I'll find. We're missing Richard today because Chef Richard, because he's on a birthday cruise with his sister. So
Yes.
Yes. Recorded. Thinking about you, Richard. Do we have other announcements? There is planning in the works for a children's party here at the church, maybe Saturday, maybe Monday. We're trying to figure it out. But if you have young people under 10 in your life that you might would like a couple of hours with other young children, pay attention to your email. Those details about it will come out shortly. Do we have any other announcements? Hearing none, if you will, rise and let's sing together, Go Down in Peace, and then come back after for